Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Samiksha, and if you are new to my channel, I make informative videos on academic and career related topics. So if you find my videos informative, please subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon to be notified or miss an update. In today's video, I am going to talk about my personal interview experiences and what I learned from them. Hope that if you are an international student, if you are a job seeker, or if you are working, I hope you can find some useful insights here. So let's get started. Let's start with my very first experience. So this was when I applied for a working student position. It was a position for 20 hours a week. I was not well prepared for asking questions to the interviewer, and she kept on asking me, do you have any questions? Do you want to ask something? Do you want to clarify something? And I was super confident. I was like, everything's clear, and I did not ask her anything, and I think that was the mistake. So always be prepared for questions at the end of the interview that you ask to the interviewer, because this is an opportunity when the interviewer asks you that, do you have any questions? At the end of the interview, it is sort of an opportunity for you to reiterate your interest in the company, or to show how much you want this position, how much you are interested in, how much you want to know more about what sort of tasks you will be doing, what is the company culture, or who are the teammates that you will be working with. Will you be working with the team, or will you be assisting only the manager? So try to prepare around 5 to 6 questions. Usually the mistake that we do is that we only prepare common questions that the interviewer eventually ends up already discussing. They already tell you what will be the next steps, and they also tell you what will be your tasks. So always prepare 5 to 6 questions as backup and ask good questions. Try to prepare good, unique questions, insightful questions to make you a more unique applicant. Talk about another interview. Now, this was my first interview with the HR for a graduate program of a medical technology company, and the interview also went very well. There were a lot of behavioral questions asked, and a lot of questions which were very new to me. It was also one of my very first few interviews. This interview went well, and I was also given a feedback at the end of the interview, and during the feedback I realized that she told me that it was very nice interacting with me because I was very positive through the interview. Even during stressful questions, I remained calm. The one thing that stuck with me was that she told me that I was smiling during the interview, positively, and I had this smile on my face, which made it look like that I was very approachable and very easy to interact with. This told me the importance of body language, kind of impact it makes on the interviewer when you have sort of a positive body language. Tells how you are perceived, right, from the idea of the person sitting in front of you, even if it is a virtual interview. So you don't have to look very serious and anxious, because that sort of tells you that you cannot perform very well under pressure. So body language makes a very big difference. So yeah, this was the takeaway from this particular interview. I was actually selected for the next round of this interview. It was going to be a technical interview with 2 different interviewers, and it actually started because my first interview went in English. I thought the next interview round is also going to be in English. When she started with the interview, she directly started in German, and I was fumbling in the start, and then she asked me that do you prefer English or German? And then I said my German is okay, but I would prefer English because that's what I came prepared for. And she went and took the interview then in English, but eventually she said, okay, last 10 minutes we would like to talk to you in German because we also want to test a little bit of your German skills. And she did talk in German, and I did respond to her because I have learned German, but I was again not prepared for it. So being prepared for it would have made a much better difference, I think. I learned from this interview that any other interviews that I sit through, I have to prepare the basic interview questions also in German to be prepared for anything and everything. At actually one of my dream companies, it was again a graduate trainee program. First round of interview was with the HR, and asked me a lot of behavioral questions. So I have discussed about what behavioral questions are and how you could answer them. So I'll put the link in the description and also here somewhere so that you can go and have a look, because behavioral behavioral questions are nowadays very common. How you respond to these behavioral questions is important because it gives an idea of how good fit you are for the company and the team. Quite prepared for this one, and it went very well. I answered most behavioral questions with the STAR method. I have discussed this also in my video that I will put again the link somewhere here, so you can go and have a look on how to answer behavioral questions using the STAR method. Because it was one of my dream companies, I had researched the company very well. So whenever you are appearing for an interview, research the company that you are interviewing for, research the role. One more experience, which at that time was really a very stressful interview experience. So I had already had 2 rounds with this company. This was like a startup, and was something related to a project management assistant or something like this. And the 3rd round they called me on site, and I was thinking that okay, maybe I'm already in and they just want to discuss now the contract with me. But this is what the impression I got. But when I went to the interview, more than an hour, and it was literally like this very huge table, and I was sitting at one side, and there were 8 people sitting around the table. All these people throwing questions at me, and it was not very comfortable, to be very honest. And they were also cross questioning me a lot. So one, I didn't know that this is going to be the agenda of the interview, and second, cross questioned on everything that I was saying. I tried to be as positive and calm during my entire interview. From this again is that you have to be calm under pressure. Things cannot always go as you thought them to go. To prevent this sort of a situation is that people always ask, whom will your interview be with, what is going to be the agenda, because that helps you mentally prepare yourself. The worst thing was that they kept me waiting. They didn't tell me. The HR kept me waiting for like more than 5 weeks. I had already gotten a job by then, and they never said yes or no. But most companies always respond to you if within 2 weeks, maximum 3 weeks. They do tell you what they are going to, what their decision is. At least after meeting you, they for sure tell you what the decision was. My takeaway was sometimes experiences don't go as you thought they will, and that's completely okay. Just take it with a pinch of salt and think that the opportunity was just not made for you, and probably you are made for a better opportunity. Previously, I have talked about my experience of assessment centers in a graduate program. If you haven't watched this video, please do so. During one of these rounds, they were trying to evaluate conflict management. It will be a situation which you are given, and you have to enact with the interviewer and find a solution to the problem that you are given. The situation was that the employee relations between the two of us is not good, and what I have to do is I have to convince them, the other employee, to submit a certain project before the deadline. And I convinced him to submit it before the deadline. But what I didn't do is better the relation between the two of us. Like, I did not say something like we should meet over a cup of coffee, and I did not strike a normal conversation or try to break the ice. Yeah, that's the word. I did not try to break the ice at all. I simply focused on the problem and finding the solution, but the approach was not the best. Conflict management, very important, how you solve conflicts. Okay, last story is going to be about writing a thank you email after your interview has completed. It's good etiquette to write a thank you email after the interview 1 day later, sample somewhere on the screen so that you can screenshot it. And I remember this one time I was asked the full form of an abbreviation in medical technology, and I did not know the answer to it. And the interviewer was so nice. He said, it's okay, you can Google it later, you can read about it and let me know what you learned. And I did just that. I did just exactly that because I really wanted that role. So after the interview, I just googled what that term is, and I made some notes, learned a bit about it, and then I wrote him an email. During the interview, I was not able to answer this question. I looked it up and I know now what this means, and this was very interesting to know, and so on. And I wrote him also a thank you email. So just showing that you were grateful for the opportunity. Forward to their response. Seeking is always a stressful time. Don't consider interview rejections as a loss. It is only a loss if you don't learn anything from it. And always ask for feedback from the interview. It's okay to fail sometimes, but what is most important is to learn from all those interviews, to do better next time, to have like a more retrospective outlook on, you know, how you performed, what you did wrong, what you think, just you, what you think you did wrong, what could have you done better, so that you can improve the next time you appear for the interview. And the other tips are simply just be on time, confident, positive, be resilient, you know, don't lose hope, don't give up. Simply a broader perspective, it is actually sometimes better to be rejected, otherwise you don't learn anything. If you do get success, you will be more grateful for it than getting success just in your first attempt, right? So all the best for your job interviews. If you have some interesting stories to share from your interviews, then please type them down in the comment section. If you have questions, please reach out to me on my Instagram handle, or you can write an email to careercraftingwithsamiksha@gmail.com. I will see you in my next video. If you found this video informative, please do not forget to like, share and subscribe, and press the bell icon to never miss an update. Bye and take care.